The fake young master deliberately lost the game. When he picked air and kissed my fiancée, the villain boss unexpectedly heard my inner thoughts. TSK, TSK. I never expected this scheming fake young master to actually collect photos of the boss and sleep hugging them every night. I wonder, seeing that, if the boss would be so disgusted she'd want to throw up. Yuwei gave Xiao a cold glance. My voice rang in her ears again. If I kissed the boss, would she throw me into the sea to feed the sharks? Yuwei's hand visibly trembled. The wine in her hand nearly spilled. This guy has guts. He actually dares to fantasize about me. And he wants to kiss me. Completely oblivious, I stroked my chin and thought it over. Compared with pissing off Xiao, kissing the villain boss and getting thrown out didn't seem like a big deal. Hearing that, Yuwei's mouth twitched suspiciously. She wanted to see what this guy, whom she had only met twice, would do in the end. But such an interesting soul would be fun to bring home. The two of us each had our own agenda. I was ready to. I stood up under everyone's gaze and walked toward the villain boss, Yuwei. Yingxue and her friends were all stunned. What is Jiang doing sitting there? Isn't Yingxue right here? I shot Yingxue a disgusted look. A dirty woman kissed by another man. I wasn't interested. Xiao looked at me pitifully. Little brother, I've already explained it to you. We were just playing a game. Why won't you believe us? The way you two were just now. If there'd been a bed here, you would have climbed right onto it. I rolled my eyes after saying that. I couldn't be bothered with them. As I got closer to Yuwei, I thought of the rumors about her. They said the boss and her best friend were a couple. If I kissed her, would she tear me limb from limb? Hearing my inner thoughts, Yuwei's face darkened. A couple with her best friend? Who on earth started that rumor? Seeing me walk toward Yuwei, Xiao unconsciously clenched his hands. His eyes fixed on me, gleaming with malice. His expression was already twisting. When I reached Yuwei's side and saw the villain boss's exquisitely beautiful face up close, I couldn't help but swoon in my head. What a beautiful villain boss. No wonder she could be that scheming fake young master's idealized first love. I steeled myself and said, "Beautiful, could you do me a favor? What do you want me to help with?" Yuwei looked up at me and asked. I hesitated as I listened to Yuwei. I didn't know whether I should just say it outright. If I told the boss to let me kiss her once, would she throw me out? Maybe I should just kiss her directly. My thoughts spun around and around. In the end, I fixed my eyes on Yuwei. Under everyone's gaze, I suddenly bent down and kissed her on the lips. Yuwei's friend stared in shock, eyes wide. Yuwei actually got forced into a kiss. This guy probably won't see tomorrow. After kissing Yuwei, I turned to run. But Yuwei reached out and grabbed me. Kiss me, and then run? Looking at Yuwei's ice-cold face, I wanted to cry. But there were no tears. I should never have played this. Yuwei's face was cold. Why did you kiss me? I stammered. I lost the game I was playing with them. Yuwei narrowed her eyes at me. She was obviously very unhappy with that answer. I hurriedly explained, desperate to survive. I don't like them. But in my head was a different voice. A dirty, trashy woman. Whoever wants her can take her. A trashy woman is nowhere near as appealing as the villain boss. Yuwei was amused by my inner thoughts. Like me, I looked at Yuwei's dazzlingly beautiful face and nodded again and again. With a villain boss that beautiful, who wouldn't like her? I heard her body is incredible. I wonder if it's true. Seeing my love-struck expression, Yuwei laughed in exasperation. She reached out and gave me a slap. Kissing me is one thing, but you also dared to lust after my body. I looked at Yuwei unconvinced. I didn't. Oh, you weren't lusting after my body. Yuwei's friend had been calmly watching things unfold. But when Yuwei said I was lusting after her body, she spewed her wine in shock. Yuwei and I both turned to look. The other person hurriedly waved her hands, guilty. You two carry on, carry on. What got into Yuwei today? She got forcibly kissed and did not even get angry, fine. And now she's pulling a handsome guy over to flirt. I was even more stunned staring at Yuwei. Something's not right. Why is the villain boss so different from what the plot said? Just as I was about to argue with Yuwei, Yingxue finally couldn't take it anymore. She walked over with a dark look on her face. Jiang, what are you doing? Get over here right now. I became reckless. I sat straight down on the sofa and wrapped my arm around Yuwei. Then I looked innocently at Yingxue and said, Miss Su, it's only a game. Why are you so angry? After all, I haven't even French kissed anyone in front of you. Xiao Zian gritted his teeth and glared at me. Little brother, I know you hate me, but no matter what, Yingxue is still your fiancée. How can you, right in front of Yingxue, be all over another woman? Isn't that going too far? Hearing that, I rolled my eyes and said in a drippingly sarcastic voice, you know full well that Su Yingxue is my fiancée. When you were doing that in front of me, kissing her for a full minute, why didn't you think of that? Did seeing me kiss your idealized first love upset you? Want me to kiss her again? To annoy this shameless scheming manipulator? Yuwei looked at me beside her. This guy still dares to kiss me. Just then, she felt something soft against her lips. Yuwei narrowed her eyes. She looked at me, my eyes full of mischief. You've got a lot of nerve. I curved my lips slightly. If I didn't have the guts, would I dare come kiss you? I knew Yuwei wouldn't do anything to me, so my tone loosened up too. Xiao Zian was furious. Jiang, no matter how much you hate us, you shouldn't just find someone random to take revenge like this. Su Yingxue looked at me with a gloomy face. She couldn't believe that the person who had once liked her so much would choose someone else at a time like this. Jiang, come over here. I sat beside Yuwei. My fingers gently brushed her cheek. Then I looked up at Su Yingxue across from me. Who do you think you are? Su Yingxue said through clenched teeth in fury. Jiang, don't forget, I'm your fiancé. I was instantly so angry I laughed. I stood up from the sofa, walked over to Su Yingxue, then lifted my hand and slapped Su Yingxue across the face. Jiang, what are you doing? Seeing me strike Su Yingxue, Xiao Zian shouted. Then he looked at her swollen cheek with heartache. Yingxue, how are you? Does it hurt? I looked at the scene playing out in front of me and laughed sarcastically. I even hurriedly clapped for the two of them. What a tender, loving scene. Su Yingxue stiffened slightly. Embarrassed, she pushed Xiao Zian away. Then she looked at me and said, apologize now. Then we'll forget this ever happened. Apologize. I slapped Su Yingxue again with my other hand. Do you like this kind of apology? Su Yingxue's friends finally reacted. They hurriedly stepped in between us and looked at me unhappily. Jiang, what are you doing? I pointed at Su Yingxue and shouted angrily. What am I doing? Why don't you ask? What Su Yingxue has done for Xiao Zian? Is there some misunderstanding? Someone who didn't know the details asked. Misunderstanding? I told her friends everything Su Yingxue had done. 3 months ago, Su Yingxue asked me to go hiking. But once we got to the mountain, and she answered Xiao Zian's call, she immediately dumped me and left. Even though I had twisted my ankle then, she still thought I was just putting on an act. A month ago, it was because of Xiao Zian again. When it was pouring rain, Su Yingxue left me by the roadside. That one time gave me a fever for a week, and I didn't recover from the pneumonia for 2 weeks. There were many things like that. It was always on a birthday or Valentine's Day. As long as Su Yingxue and I were alone together, Xiao Zian would immediately call her away. Su Yingxue's friends didn't know much about these things. Now that they heard this, they all felt Su Yingxue and Xiao Zian were too much. Now, in front of me, they used the excuse of a game to do things only couples should do. And you tell me it's just a game. The people who had just thought I was making a mountain out of a molehill all lowered their heads, too afraid to meet my eyes. Yuwei frowned at me. No wonder Jiang had looked so miserable the last time she ran into him. That day, in the pouring rain, I was only wearing a thin t-shirt. I was soaked through. My pant legs were covered in mud and water. Mud splattered all over them. I don't know where my shoes had been thrown. My bare feet were bruised blue and green by the pebbles on the road. Some places were even bleeding. Yuwei's friend leaned close to her and said, Yuwei, this sweet puppy-like guy looks more like a big bad wolf. Yuwei said nothing. She just watched me quietly, wanting to see how I would handle this next. I slapped Xiao Zian across the face. You like other people's women that much. If you can't snatch them away, you get upset. Xiao Zian covered his face, looking utterly wronged. Jiang, you've misunderstood me. Su Yingxue gritted her teeth and shouted at me angrily. Jiang, what exactly do you want? What do I want? Su Yingxue, I'm officially informing you. Our engagement is over. From now on, you go your way and I go mine. Tomorrow I'll have my parents go to your house to break off the engagement. I'll also let your parents see how you put on one face in front of them and another behind their backs. I said coldly, looking at Su Yingxue. Su Yingxue was shaking with rage. This is a matter between our two families. If you break off the engagement with me, let's see who would still dare marry you. Who would dare? My gaze moved to Yuwei. I walked over to her. Older sister, I'll break off the engagement. Will you marry me? Marry the scheming manipulator's idealized first love and piss him off. Boss, give me some reaction already. That would be really embarrassing for me. Yuwei frowned at me. What do I get out of marrying you? You get a handsome husband who is gentle, thoughtful, and warms your bed. Yuwei nodded. That does sound reasonable. If that's all. I seemed to be a little tempted. As my voice fell, I asked tentatively. Maybe also one who can't cook, is lazy as hell, and is a freeloader who spends your money. You make money so easily, boss. You should have someone spending your money for you. If I can be a freeloader who wants to work, might as well cling to the boss's thigh. Yuwei raised her wrist and checked the time. Tomorrow morning at 9. If the Civil Affairs Bureau doesn't see you there, you can wait to be fed to the sharks. I looked at Yuwei in confusion. You agreed. Do you need me to say it again? I shook my head without hesitation. No, no need. Yuwei stood up and took my hand, and said to her stunned friends, I'll take him home first. Xiao stopped Yuwei. President Liu, my younger brother already has a fiancée. What he just said was only a spur-of-the-moment joke. I'm apologizing to you on his behalf. I stood beside Yuwei. I nearly rolled my eyes into the back of my head. Already getting anxious? Yuwei said coldly. At that, I couldn't help laughing. Oh my, someone is getting ahead of himself. I gave you my fiancée. Aren't you happy? I looked at Xiao in feigned confusion. I've already found someone else to get engaged to. Why do you still look dissatisfied? Xiao's face reddened. Who wants that fool, Yingxue? Yuwei is the goddess in my heart. He bit the tip of his tongue. The pain kept him alert. Little brother, if I do this, will mom and dad agree? I looked at Xiao with a proud expression. I said with a faint, mocking smile. Of course mom and dad will agree. After all, I'm their biological son. You know perfectly well how good they are to me. As soon as I said that, Xiao clenched both fists. Ever since I was found and brought back as the real young master, the family has spoiled me rotten. Xiao's standing has fallen off a cliff. If you like Yingxue, then she's yours. Not everyone likes picking through trash. After saying that, I took Yuwei's hand and walked out. Older sister, let's go. Watching our retreating backs, Xiao's face turned livid. He said bitterly, Yingxue, I want to go back first. What if your brother says bad things about us? Although Yingxue wasn't happy, she didn't say anything else. Instead, she left with Xiao. Not long after, Yuwei dropped me off at the villa gate. Before I got out of the car, I suddenly leaned over and kissed Yuwei on the cheek. Then I ran. Older sister, goodbye. I'm going home. Run. If I get caught, I'm doomed. Watching me run off like a rabbit, Yuwei touched the cheek I had kissed. She snorted. You little rascal. Yuwei was just about to head back when she noticed a car driving this way. It was Yingxue and Xiao. When Xiao saw Yuwei's car, his eyes lit up. Just as he was about to walk over, Yuwei had already driven off, leaving Xiao with nothing but her taillights. Xiao's expression darkened. How exactly am I worse than Jiang? That hick. To be looked down on by Yuwei like this. Yingxue walked over to Xiao. What are you looking at? Xiao smiled at Yingxue. It's nothing. I'll head back first. Before he won over Yuwei, he couldn't give up Yingxue. After all, the Su family was one of the strongest around. Xiao had barely gotten home when he heard bursts of laughter and cheerful chatter. He was so furious he ground his teeth. Damn Jiang, why didn't he die out there? This was all supposed to be mine. While I was speaking, I heard that voice. I instinctively turned and saw Xiao standing in the doorway, staring at me with hatred. I could actually hear his inner thoughts. This is getting interesting. The way he looked at me, he wanted me dead. Jiang and my parents' expressions changed at once. All eyes turned to me, but they saw I hadn't said anything. So, what had they just heard? While everyone was still confused, they heard my inner thoughts again. Back so early? Are you worried I'll tattle to mom and dad? Now they could finally be sure. What they heard was my inner thoughts. Then they heard something even more unbearable. Xiao really knows how to hide things. He had already contacted his biological parents, yet he still acted like he knew nothing. That alone would have been enough. But mom, dad, and my sister had treated him so well for 20 years. In the end, Xiao teamed up with Yingxue to kill mom and dad. He even arranged for my sister to be run over. And even when my sister was dying, He staged it to look like she had stumbled drunk into the road and caused the crash. Thinking of how good my sister was, and how she was schemed against by Ze'an, I felt a little sick inside. Hearing that, Zhang Yuru's hands trembled slightly. So this is how she ends up. Mom instinctively grabbed Dad's hand. Her grip was so tight Dad couldn't help frowning. But he still reached over and patted her hand, comforting her silently. Nothing had happened yet. They still had a chance. Seeing that everyone had noticed he was back, Ze'an hurried over, planning to play pitiful and act weak. But I wasn't going to give him that chance. So I cut in first. Mom, Dad, I want to break off the engagement. Yingxue, right in front of me, French kissed Ze'an in front of a crowd, watching the Jiang family grow more and more angry. Ze'an was so frightened his scalp went numb. He tried to explain in a trembling voice. Mom, Dad, it's not like that. We were playing a game then, and I only had to do that because I lost. Just as I was about to speak up and refute him, Yuwei sent me a message. When I opened it, it turned out to be surveillance footage from the bar. Ze'an was still trying to explain, saying it was just an accident. She was very sorry too. I said calmly, whether it was an accident, you could tell by watching the surveillance footage. Ze'an's stomach dropped. Before he could stop me, I had already cast the video to the TV. The whole family watched Ze'an lose the game. As punishment, he went straight for Yingxue without a second's pause. They clung to each other in front of everyone and kissed like they had forgotten the world. Besides that, there were also clips of them pressuring me aggressively. Mom couldn't hold back and slapped Ze'an across the face. You knew Yingxue was Zhang Yi's fiancée, yet you still went after her. You're slapping our faces. I watched, thoroughly enjoying Ze'an getting hit. At that moment, Yuwei sent me a message. When I opened it, it was photos of the two of them going in and out of a hotel. There were also a few videos. When Ze'an saw the video, his face went paper white. This isn't real. If you think this video was edited by people I hired, you can have it authenticated anywhere. If it's fake, I'll kneel and apologize to you. Those words cut off Ze'an's next sentence. Mom glared at Ze'an, then shook her head in disappointment. Ze'an, since you found your family, you are no longer part of the Jiang family. When we found our biological son, Mom never even thought about abandoning her adopted son. And yet Ze'an actually did something like this. Hearing that the Jiang family was going to throw him out, Ze'an panicked completely. The Xiao family's conditions were nowhere near as good as the Jiang family's. If he really went back, he would become a pawn for the Xiao family to climb higher. Mom said coldly, leave. You can take your clothes with you. Anything else, forget it. Looking at their cruel expressions, Ze'an was furious too. I am your son too. What gives you the right to treat me like this? You wanted to drive me out long ago, didn't you? Seeing Ze'an so hysterical, Mom said coldly, if you do not want to pack up your things, then walk out right now. Ze'an's face changed at once. He had bought a lot of luxury goods. Just those expensive watches alone were worth a fortune. He wasn't willing to give all that up. So he started playing pitiful again. But I wasn't going to give him the chance. I decided to pour oil on the fire. Ze'an, you stole 20 years of my life. It was bad enough that you took my fiancée to meet your parents, but you even kept my parents in the dark. What exactly are you trying to do? My words made the Jiang family even angrier at Ze'an. But what made them even more furious came next. When you took Yingxue to meet the Xiao family as your wife, it was the day after I came back. Ze'an, when exactly did you find your biological parents? Dad frowned slightly, thinking of 3 years ago, when Ze'an went to the Xiao family seeking a partnership. His expression changed at once. Looks like you knew 3 years ago that the Xiao family was your real family. If I had not uncovered everything and heard my inner thoughts, how long would they have stayed in the dark about Ze'an? Ze'an, we underestimated you. From this moment on, you are no longer part of the Jiang family. Anything the Jiang family gave you, you will not take away even one bit. Hearing that, Ze'an completely panicked. He fell to his knees and begged desperately. But Dad had already made up his mind. Housekeeper, show Mr. Xiao out. Ze'an did not want to be thrown out, so he could only get up from the floor in embarrassment. As he left, he shot me a vicious look. Zhang Yi, don't get cocky. This Jiang family will be mine sooner or later. Hearing Ze'an's inner thoughts, I sneered at Ze'an as he left in disgrace. You are no longer part of the Jiang family. Do not use the Jiang name outside from now on to do things you should not do. My exposing his little scheme Made him lash out in humiliation. Who cares? Zhang Yuru said coldly. You'd better mean it. Xiao Zian's face was ugly. Damn Zhang Yuru. I made it so obvious. How dare she treat me like this? Since she doesn't want to be my simp, then go die. I had no idea Xiao Zian was so greedy. One Su Yingxue wasn't enough. He even wanted my sister to be his on-call simp. I was speechless after hearing Xiao Zian's inner thoughts. How was I supposed to tell my sister? Noticing the strange look on my face, Zhang Yuru got goosebumps all over. Zhang Yi, if you have something to say, just say it. I cleared my throat and said nothing, but I kept thinking about it. Xiao Zian wanted my sister to be his simp. Did my sister know he was after her body? Looking at him, Xiao Zian definitely wasn't going to give up. What should I do to protect my sister's innocence? The family members who could hear my inner thoughts all stiffened. Zhang Yuru's eyes were burning with anger. Damn Xiao Zian. She took a deep breath and forced down her anger, and patted my shoulder. Zhang Yi, if Xiao Zian ever bullies you, just tell me. I looked at Zhang Yuru meaningfully. Sister, you should watch yourself instead. Xiao Zian's looks at you seem a little strange. I gave my sister a subtle warning. Meanwhile, Su Yingxue had been waiting at the Jiang family gate. When she saw Xiao Zian come out in a sorry state, she hurried over. Ze'an, why are you out here? Xiao Zian looked wronged. Yingxue, what exactly did I do wrong? Mom and Dad want to kick me out of the house. The moment Su Yingxue heard the Jiang family was going to kick Xiao Zian out, she immediately headed for the door. She raised her hand and kept pounding on the door. Johnny, get out here. Hearing the noise, I turned to the kitchen and got a basin of water. I opened the door and faced the woman still shouting outside, and splashed the whole basin of water at her. Hot-headed, were we? Let me wake you up. The well-dressed Su Yingxue instantly turned into a drowned rat. Zhang Yi, you bastard. Kneel down and apologize right now. As she spoke, Su Yingxue even raised her hand to hit me. But when she saw my parents and the bodyguards behind me, she could only swallow her anger. Zhang Yi, I know you're jealous because of Ze'an, but he's just a friend to me. Let's just pretend this never happened. I was disgusted. I kicked her straight away. Do you like that kind of apology? Su Yingxue pointed at me, trembling. How dare you hit me? If you don't kneel down and apologize today, then don't even think about marrying me. Hearing that, I answered with open disgust. If you'd had even the peanuts with your drink, you wouldn't be this drunk. My words made both Su Yingxue and Xiao Zian change expression, especially Xiao Zian. His eyes were full of confusion. He couldn't understand why I changed so much. After all, I used to be Su Yingxue's simp and a hopeless love fool. Not only do I not like Su Yingxue anymore, I even got involved with Lu Yuwei. Did the shock hit me hard? Xiao Zian kept mulling over my changes in his head, but he had no idea. I could hear his inner thoughts loud and clear. Su Yingxue, our engagement is over. Tomorrow my parents will go to your house to break it off. Now you can leave. I turned my gaze to Xiao Zian. Just as you wanted, I broke off my engagement with Su Yingxue. Are you happy now? Now you can openly take Su Yingxue to meet your biological parents. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget, from now on, you're not the Jiang family's young master. Stop dragging the Jiang family into things. Su Yingxue was so angry she wanted to say more, but Xiao Zian stopped her. Yingxue, let's go. Even if he still wanted to stay in the Jiang family, he did not want to be humiliated like this. Su Yingxue was still fuming. Zhang Yi, apologize now, and I'll forgive you. I only gave her one word, leave. Su Yingxue ground her teeth. Zhang Yi, don't come crying to me later. I shot back without holding back. I'm the one who regrets not kicking you out sooner. What trash? As I spoke, I raised the basin of water in my hand. I was ready to throw it at her at any moment. Maybe she was afraid I would really do it. Su Yingxue dragged Xiao Zian away in a panic. Once the two of them were gone, I thought of Lu Yuwei, and my head started to ache. How was I supposed to tell my parents? Tomorrow morning, I was going to register my marriage. The whole family immediately turned to look at me. It startled me. I asked cautiously, Mom, Dad, why are you all staring at me like that? Zhang Yuru asked through gritted teeth. Are you hiding something from us? I thought it over for a moment. I had to say it sooner or later anyway. So I forced myself to say, Mom, Dad, would you accept me changing to a different daughter-in-law? I mean, my parents stared straight at me, very curious. Who on earth had that kind of charm to steal our family's son away? I cleared my throat softly and said carefully, Lu Yuwei, Dad looked at me in shock. I answered seriously. Lu Yuwei, the current head of the Lu family. Zhang Yuru instinctively reached out and touched my forehead. You haven't had that much to drink, and you're already drunk. No wonder no one believed me. After all, Lu Yuwei and the rumors never went near men. She was also the idealized first love of countless rich young masters. And she was the woman every man in the country wanted to marry. I pulled my sister's hand down and rolled my eyes at her. It's true. She'll come pick me up at 9 tomorrow morning. I'm the one marrying a big shot. Everyone stared at me, stunned. Was this guy losing his mind? Tell Mom what happened. What's going on? Mom cleared her throat and asked gently. I awkwardly rubbed my nose and said, a little guilty. We lost a game. Then I kissed her twice. When I said I wanted to break off my engagement with Su Yingxue, Su Yingxue said that if I broke off our engagement, no one would dare marry me. So I asked Lu Yuwei one question, and I didn't expect her to agree. The family exchanged looks. What kind of damn luck did Zhang Yi have to end up with an opportunity like this? Mom, Dad, you shouldn't mind that I brought you a big shot daughter-in-law, right? Mom suddenly shot to her feet and headed upstairs. Seeing that, I panicked. Dad, is Mom angry? Dad looked at me, speechless. He was just about to say something when Mom came back down the stairs. She was still holding something. That thing looked oddly familiar. It was the household register. Mom shoved the household register into my hands and said meaningfully, Zhang Yi, bringing a woman like Lu Yuwei home is a huge win. Mom supports you. I was instantly stunned. I turned to look at Dad, my eyes silently asking, aren't you going to control your wife? Dad spread his hands at me and said, holding back a laugh, your girlfriend is Lu Yuwei. Our whole family supports you. Once you've registered tomorrow, ask her whether she'd like to come over for dinner. I let out dry laughs. So I was the one getting ahead of myself. I looked down at the household register in my hand. Suddenly, the household register felt hot in my hands. But once I successfully registered my marriage with a big shot tomorrow, Ze'an would definitely be furious. After all, that big shot was the male lead's idealized first love. At first, Zhang Yuru still wasn't willing to let me register my marriage with Lu Yuwei. But after hearing my inner thoughts, she said seriously, Zhang Yi, I think you and Lu Yuwei are a perfect match. Make sure you're not late tomorrow. Dress a little sharper. I nodded. Then I took the household register and staggered back to my room. I thought over the plot I knew so far. Ze'an, as the male lead, besides the villain boss Lu Yuwei, had the irresistible lead aura around everyone else. As long as Ze'an lifted a finger, he could make women willingly do things for him. Right now, it was only Su Yingxue. Later on, around Ze'an, quite a few impressive people would show up too. I had to find a way to steal his connections. The next day, Lu Yuwei and I had just reached the Civil Affairs Bureau entrance. When my brow furrowed, the woman followed my gaze and looked over, only to see Ze'an standing there in a rebellious, stylish outfit. But Lu Yuwei was not affected at all. She took my arm and walked toward the Civil Affairs Bureau. Then Ze'an immediately came over. Lu Yuwei, wait, I have something to say to you. As he spoke, he spread his arms to block us. Lu Yuwei looked at Ze'an coldly, her eyes full of impatience. Move. I couldn't help laughing. I wrapped an arm around Lu Yuwei's shoulder. Ze'an, are you here to register your marriage with Su Yingxue? Why isn't she by your side? Ze'an looked at how close Lu Yuwei and I were, and his eyes were full of jealousy. Damn it, Zhang Yi. Why should he get to register his marriage with Lu Yuwei? Hearing Ze'an's jealous inner thoughts, I was even more satisfied. I even rubbed it in his face right there, then swaggered inside, holding Lu Yuwei's hand. Ze'an stood at the door, staring wide-eyed as the two of us went in to register. Half an hour later, when I came out with Lu Yuwei and the marriage certificate, Ze'an looked ready to run over, snatched the marriage certificate from my hand, and threw it on the ground. Lu Yuwei asked me considerately whether there was anything I needed to go home and pack. I looked at her in shock. I live with you. You don't even buy me clothes. Do you want me to go home and get clothes too? Surely, the big shot wouldn't be that stingy, would she? Lu Yuwei said irritably. I'm talking about your computer and things like that. Do you want to take them? I'll buy you new ones. I said that on purpose just to anger Ze'an. Then let's go to the mall now. If you see anything you like, we'll buy it together. I pulled Lu Yuwei's hand and strode off, completely ignoring Ze'an beside us. Zhang Yi, you little punk. I won't let you get away with this. Hearing that, I turned to look at Ze'an. I gave a slight smile, my expression full of provocation. Won't let me get away with it. Then let's wait and see. Yuwei frowned and turned to look at Ze'an, noticing the hatred in the way he looked at me. She looked up at me, thinking that guy was pretty easy to hate. Then she reached out and turned my head back. What's so interesting about a clown? I blinked in confusion. The male lead's irresistible aura doesn't work on the villain boss. When she heard irresistible, Yuwei's brows whereupon slightly. She looked at me and still thought I was much better looking than Ze'an. Seeing Yuwei openly protect me, Ze'an was so angry the veins on his forehead bulged. His nails dug into his own flesh, and he still didn't come to his senses. Jiang, just you wait. After going to the mall to buy what we needed, by the time we got back home, lunch was already ready at home. At the dining table, Yuwei said I would be moving in with her. Although the family had sensed it, they still couldn't help feeling reluctant. Mom, we'll come back for meals when we're free. Staying a few days is fine too. Yuwei also chimed in at the right moment. Jiang is right. We'll come back often after this. Since we both said so. Mom didn't press the matter any further. She could only tell us to come back often. After lunch and packing up, we arrived at the villa in Yihao, Yuan. It was already 9 p.m. As soon as I stepped inside, I couldn't help complaining. Your room looks like a show apartment. It's not cozy at all. That huge balcony isn't even used for anything. It's such a waste. Yuwei folded her arms, leaning against the wall, watching me wander around. She could still catch my complaints from time to time. When I got close, she suddenly pulled me in front of her. Smiling, she asked, "You hate it that much?" Seeing me nod non-stop, Yuwei tossed me an unlimited black card. Redecorate it however you want. My eyes lit up at once. Really? I can do whatever I want and you won't object? Yuwei nodded with a smile. It's all up to you. As long as it's not to pink. I'm fine with it. That made me laugh. How could I possibly make it all pink? Besides, just thinking about the two of us lying under pink blankets was strangely funny. What are you thinking about? When I heard that, I blurted out. I'm picturing what it'd look like if you were lying under a pink blanket. Yuwei's brow lifted at once. She reached out and pulled me into her arms. Compared with that, I'd rather see you lying there. Before I could react, I was already thrown onto the bed. Looking at the person leaning over me, my scalp went numb. Wasn't this just karma? Still being naughty? Her teasing gaze short-circuited my brain. For some reason, I suddenly found the nerve to reach out, wrap my arms around Yuwei, and kiss her. Yuwei had only been teasing me at first, but she was instantly set on fire, and then things spiraled completely out of control. So the next day, I slept until well past noon. The moment I got up and looked in the mirror, I got angry. So I called Yuwei, who had already gone to work. The marks on my neck were impossible to hide. How am I supposed to go out and see people like this? This woman was like a little cat, but Yuwei had a smile in her eyes. Still have the nerve to say that. Do you know how many people stared at me? When I came to the company today, I was instantly confused. Why were they staring at you? Because last night, a sweet puppy-like guy had such sharp teeth he bit me. As she spoke, Yuwei took a photo and sent it to me. Looking at the matching marks on her neck, I couldn't help laughing. Looks like this battle ended in a draw. After hanging up, I looked at the marks that were impossible to cover. My eyes darted around. What a perfect chance. It would be a crime not to rile up Ze'an. So I took a photo and posted it on Moments, setting it so only Ze'an could see it. Meanwhile, because of the marriage registration with Yuwei, Ze'an had been so angry he barely slept all night. The moment he got up, he saw the Moments post I had just made. He was so angry he nearly spit blood. His fists clenched tight, and he ground out, "I can't just sit here and do nothing." I had to make sure Yuwei knew exactly what kind of person Jiang was. Thinking that, Ze'an took the things and went to find Yuwei. When he reached the front desk, just as he was fretting over not having an appointment and being unable to see her, he suddenly saw Yuwei step out of the elevator with her assistant. He hurried over at once. "Hello, President Liu. I'm Jiang's brother." But Yuwei only gave him a cool glance. "My husband seems to only have one older sister. He doesn't have a brother." Yuwei remembered this man. He was the so-called male lead Jiang kept mentioning. That disgusting man who treated her like his idealized first love. Ze'an felt a little awkward. But to make sure Yuwei saw my true colors, he gritted his teeth and pulled out the photo he had saved. "President Liu, look at Jiang. He actually used this kind of trick to smear you." Yuwei looked at the photo on his phone and frowned at once. Seeing that, Xiao Zian felt smug. He knew Yuwei wasn't the shallow type. Why didn't you show me the photo of my husband just after waking up? Yuwei was a little unhappy about that. And it was such a handsome photo too. Then she thought about it again. And Yuwei immediately understood that I was deliberately provoking Xiao Zian, using herself to provoke someone she didn't like. Tonight, when I got home, I was going to make this guy pay. Xiao Zian was still waiting for Yuwei to blow up at me in anger. But instead he saw that she looked perfectly calm. She even said to the front desk, "If this person comes again, keep him outside." Xiao Zian wanted to say something else, but the assistant stopped him and warned him, "Sir, please do not come here to disturb our boss." Xiao Zian had no choice. He could only watch helplessly as Yuwei left. But as soon as she stepped out of the company, Yuwei took out her phone and called me. "Jiang, shouldn't that photo have been for me, your wife, to see? You showed it to an outsider, fine. But you even used me as a shield." Yuwei's tone was casual. She didn't sound like she was here to accuse me. That immediately piqued my interest. Xiao Zian really did go to the company to find her. I burst out laughing. I was in a great mood. Yuwei was a little annoyed by that. "You used me. You're my wife. What's wrong with using you a little?" My righteous, matter-of-fact words made Yuwei thoughtful. "Sure you won't regret it?" "Why would I regret it?" I thought Yuwei's question was a little strange. "Remember what you said. I still have another deal to discuss." I have to hang up. I didn't think much of it either. After hanging up, I pulled up Xiao Zian's contact list. Sure enough, he had been sending me messages for an hour. He kept insulting me in every way he could. I just calmly sent back a voice message. Going to my wife's company to find her. Was that to see just how good our marriage is? My lazy, husky voice made Xiao Zian's eyes turn red with jealousy. "What's there for you to be smug about? She'll dump you sooner or later. Sorry to disappoint you. We are a legally recognized married couple. Even if she really did dump me, when we get divorced, I would still get a huge share of the assets." I knew exactly what Xiao Zian cared about. Every word I said hit him right where it hurt. He got so mad he called me right away. "Jiang, how can you be so shameless? She doesn't even like you." Faced with Xiao Zian's overly agitated outburst, I answered with a smile. "She's my wife. How does that make me shameless? Besides, we sleep in the same bed. At night, we can still fall asleep in each other's arms." The moment those words left my mouth, Xiao Zian exploded. He started hurling every ugly insult he could think of. I put the phone aside and let Xiao Zian rage helplessly on the other end. When I could no longer hear him, I picked up the phone and said, "Xiao Zian, you like my wife, don't you? Too bad she doesn't like you. And now she's even registered the marriage with me. If Yingxue knew you were thinking about someone else, what do you think she'd do?" While provoking Xiao Zian, I also didn't forget to undermine the relationship between the male lead and the female lead. After stirring things up, I deleted and blocked him in one clean sweep. Xiao Zian's face went dark with rage after being hung up on. A moment later, he forced down the fire in his chest. He took out his phone and made a call. "Investigate Jiang for me. Who has he met? And when did he meet Yuwei?" After getting the answer, Xiao Zian finally hung up in satisfaction. Before he could think further, his phone rang again. It was Yingxue calling. It turned out Yingxue had landed him a script. He got a third male lead role. Although it wasn't the male lead, he was a little disappointed, but he didn't show it. He forced a smile and kept praising Yingxue, but in his heart he had already made up his mind to find a way to blow up and get famous. As long as he got popular, no matter who was backing me, it would be easy for him to deal with me. When I found out Xiao Zian was preparing to join the crew, I was a little surprised. Yingxue was pretty generous to the female lead, but thinking about what would happen next, I smiled to myself. I had an idea. That night, when Yuwei got home, she saw me typing nonstop at the keyboard. She asked, puzzled, "What are you doing?" "Writing a screenplay." When I answered Yuwei, my hands never stopped moving. Hearing that, Yuwei slightly frowned. "You're interested in this?" "Just writing one for fun." As I said that, I suddenly leaned in close to her. "If I write it, do you want to invest?" Yuwei glanced at the script. "It's pretty good, but what's in it for me?" I tilted my head and looked at her. Then I kissed her delicate little face. "Would this kind of reward work?" Yuwei looked at me with her head slightly tilted. I couldn't help thinking I might be selling myself a little too cheaply. Seeing her stare at me without saying anything, I muttered to myself, "This big shot is way too hard to please. She still won't agree. That won't do." Maybe I should just seduce her. Hearing my inner thoughts, Yuwei actually started to look forward to it. She wanted to see what I would do. To get her to invest in the script I wanted her to back. I smiled slyly. Then I suddenly wrapped my arms around Yuwei. I gently stroked her pretty face and said sweetly, "Wife, I'm begging you." But in Yuwei's eyes, I looked downright appetizing. Before I could react, I was dragged straight into the bedroom. "I just remembered I still have a score to settle with you." Those words instantly reminded me of how I had tricked Yuwei. I immediately wanted to run, but she cupped my face in her hands. "Say wife again." I obediently did as I was told. But what greeted me was the familiar big bed. I instantly curled into a little ball. I am hungry. Though inside, I was already regretting having provoked her. Yuwei said meaningfully, "Coincidentally, I'm hungry too." Oh, damn. Weren't I here to get her to invest in the script? How did this turn into walking right into the wolf's den? Yuwei smiled, lips curved, and shot me a look. "This is your punishment for using me to provoke that man." After breakfast the next day, Yuwei took me to the garden. I sat on the swing, looking at the woman standing beside it. I couldn't help urging her. "Push me." Yuwei walked behind me and pushed the swing. Yuwei stayed with me all day, and even took a look at the script for me. I'm writing a screenplay about school bullying. The script itself is good, but whether it can be shot with the effect you want depends heavily on the director and the actors. You need to choose carefully, Yuwei said as she looked at the script on the computer. This script was inspired by a friend of mine. When he was in middle school, he was bullied, which drove him into depression and made him jump to his death. But the real culprit, because he was a minor at the time, was never punished much. Tell me, isn't that ridiculous? Thinking of that vibrant young man, I felt a little down. Back then, I jumped without a second thought, and those people just stood there. The law is getting better and better. Those people will be punished. I know. So, I wanted to make a film. To make people pay attention to school bullying. You just focus on filming it. I'll handle the rest. Yuwei comforted me softly. Okay, I'll do my best. After keeping me company at home for a day, the next day Yuwei took her assistant and went on a business trip. Watching Yuwei leave, I was thrilled. Finally she's gone. If she doesn't leave soon, my waist is going to break. Yuwei, who hadn't gone far yet, heard my inner thoughts, handed the suitcase in her hand to the assistant, and turned back. Looking at Yuwei coming back again, I asked warily, "Why are you back?" Yuwei curved her lips into a smile. "I think I can take you with me." I stared at Yuwei with wide eyes. "I'm not going. This woman is playing dirty." She said she was going alone. Seeing how guarded I looked, Yuwei couldn't help laughing. She tiptoed and kissed my face. "If you think it's boring at home, you can go stay at your parents' place for a couple of days." I pointed at the marks that still hadn't faded. "Go home like this?" My sister would laugh at me. "The shows our married life is harmonious," Yuwei said with a raised brow. I rolled my eyes at Yuwei. Then I pushed her away. "You're pushing your luck now. Hurry up and go." "I'm going." Yuwei was only trying to tease me, and hadn't really planned to take me with her. After all, things over there weren't exactly safe. Once I was sure Yuwei was really gone, I let out a long sigh of relief. Finally she's gone. From the story, I only knew she was this cool, abstinent goddess. But it never said she'd end up getting hooked. And she still had so many tricks up her sleeve. I cursed Yuwei in my head like crazy. I reached out and rubbed my aching waist. After resting for 2 days, my energy and spirits finally came back fully. On the 3rd day after Yuwei left, I completely renovated the room. I changed the bed and put on the 4-piece bedding set I had bought myself. I smiled with satisfaction. The cold, hard room felt much warmer and cozier after I worked on it. Proudly, I took my phone, snapped a few photos, and sent them to Yuwei. "So, take a look for yourself." Yuwei, who was still working, heard her phone ring and picked it up. It was the photos I sent. She opened them and looked at the room transformed beyond recognition. Then she reached out and tapped the last photo. Looking at my selfie, Yuwei regretted again not bringing me along. I sent her messages, but after a long while she still hadn't replied. Out of curiosity, I made a video call. Seeing her answer instantly, I sank into thought. "What are you looking at?" Seeing Yuwei staring at something, I unconsciously leaned forward and asked toward the phone. "Looking at the photos you just sent me." Yuwei adjusted the angle and set the phone aside, handling work on her end while video chatting with me. "What's there to look at?" I pulled up the photos I had taken. They didn't seem all that special. Lu Yuwei only smiled and said nothing, wearing that mysterious little smile. It gave me a bad feeling. Could you please stop thinking all that random nonsense in your head? I said unhappily. Lu Yuwei burst out laughing. That bright, radiant smile left me stunned. It turned out that when Lu Yuwei smiled like that, was even prettier than when she kept a cold face. I reached out and poked the smiling Lu Yuwei on the screen, muttering, "You look so good when you smile. Why don't you like smiling?" Lu Yuwei reined in her smile and looked at the person on the video tenderly, thinking of that miserable bunch of people from the Lu family. Lu Yuwei gently shook her head. There was nothing worth smiling about before. I stared blankly at Lu Yuwei. I chatted with her for a long time. After she finished her work, I hung up the video call. Looking at the disconnected video, Lu Yuwei felt a little regretful she hadn't told me. She regretted not bringing me on the trip with her. The next day, Lu Yuwei had just gotten up when she saw the messages I sent. There was the dinner I ate, the flowers I picked from the garden, and the balcony I had arranged. It looked pretty nice. After sending me a message with her phone, she finally went out. Her assistant was on the side reporting on work progress. Book the flight tickets. We head back tomorrow morning. I don't want to waste too much time with them. Also, you handle today's matter. Call me if anything comes up. After saying that, she took the car keys and drove out. After leaving the place where she was staying, she went out for a walk. When she came back, she was carrying several bags. When she saw those cute trinkets, and the clothes and shoes, the assistant was stunned. Who could have imagined that their cold, aloof boss, this is bought for your son-in-law. He likes these novel, cute little things. When it came to me, Lu Yuwei had a faint smile on her face. That look made the assistant feel a little dazed. Their boss actually smiled. At night, Lu Yuwei was video chatting with me, looking thoroughly unhappy. I asked curiously, "What happened? You look kind of upset. Is work not going well?" Lu Yuwei told me Smith wanted to take 10% of her profits from her. I looked at her with a strange expression. Lu Yuwei's wealth could rank among the top in the world, and this Smith actually wanted to get a cut from her by using underhanded means. What are you planning to do? I was invited here by the David family. Since Smith doesn't know how to appreciate kindness, then we don't need this cooperation. I'll come back tomorrow. Darling, you have to bring me a gift. I'll be back on the first flight tomorrow morning. How am I supposed to come back without a gift? Lu Yuwei asked with feigned regret. I looked at Lu Yuwei, and seeing she didn't seem to be joking, I hung up without another word. Hung up the call. I poked at my phone. A boss that big, and she went on a business trip without even buying her husband a gift. Bad review? Lu Yuwei never expected I would actually just hang up on the video call. She gave a helpless smile and shook her head. She set the phone aside to charge, and went to wash up and get ready for bed. On the third day, Lu Yuwei rushed home in a panic. She looked around but still did not see me anywhere. Frowning, she asked the housekeeper, "Where is the son-in-law?" "The son-in-law is not feeling well today. He has been resting upstairs." Lu Yuwei hurried upstairs with the gift she had bought for me. She gently opened the door, set the things on the floor, and walked inside. The moment she stepped in, she saw the lump under the covers on the bed. She walked over and sat by the bed. Seeing how pale I looked, she reached out and felt my forehead. Lu Yuwei picked up her phone and called a friend who studied medicine. She told her to come right away. When Yuan entered Lu Yuwei's room, her first reaction was that she had come to the wrong place. No matter how she looked at it, this room did not match someone like Lu Yuwei at all. "What are you looking at? Come over here." Seeing Yuan come in and start sizing up the room, Lu Yuwei said irritably, with obvious annoyance. Yuan grinned. "I heard you went to work with a fever before your business trip." I did not believe it at first, but now that I see what your room looks like, I believe it. Lu Yuwei turned to look at Yuan, and her meaning was very clear. "If you cannot handle it, I will get someone else." Yuan cleared her throat and quickly came over to take my pulse. Her fever was caused by a cold, but her condition is not very good. She looks fine on the outside, but she is all show and no strength. She needs proper rest and care. It is nothing serious. If you need anything, just tell me. Once his cold clears up, have the chef make him some nourishing dishes to build him back up. Yuan prescribed the medicine I needed. She told Lu Yuwei to have the household staff pick it up from her hospital. "Since everything is fine, I will head back first. Once your husband is better, we can all get together." After Yuan left, Lu Yuwei went to take a shower and change clothes, then came back to the bed to stay with me. When I woke up, Lu Yuwei was asleep beside me. Still drowsy, I looked at Lu Yuwei and instinctively held her tight. My movement instantly woke Lu Yuwei from her light sleep. She reached out and touched my forehead. Your fever's gone down. Do you still feel bad? I feel much better already. I want to drink water. Lu Yuwei got up and poured me a cup of warm water. After I drank it, she said, I had a doctor come take a look at you. If you rest and recover properly, there should be no serious problem. I looked at Lu Yuwei with bright eyes. I do not need to take medicine. After getting a positive answer, I happily reached out and hugged Lu Yuwei. Thank you, wife. I was so excited that my body suddenly went a little stiff. I looked at Lu Yuwei sadly. I'm hungry. Then I will go downstairs and have the chef make you something to eat. Lu Yuwei said gently. There's a gift waiting outside. Get yourself together and go open it. I looked at Lu Yuwei in confusion. Did you not say you were too busy to buy me a gift? Lu Yuwei said with a laugh. I was just teasing you. Who knew you'd get so worked up? I thought about hanging up on Lu Yuwei's video call yesterday, and for some reason, I felt a little guilty. I pushed her away and said, Go on, get out. After Lu Yuwei left, I finally got up and went to the bathroom to wash up. When I came out of the bathroom, I looked at the several bags on the floor. I carried them over to the sofa and opened them. The things inside were all in colors I liked, especially that watch. I loved it. I put the watch on my wrist. I put the rest of the things away. Only then did I stroll downstairs to find Lu Yuwei. Seeing Lu Yuwei sitting on the sofa, working on her laptop, I held my hand out in front of her. Does it look good? If you dare say it does not look good, you are not getting into bed tonight. Lu Yuwei's typing paused for a moment. She turned her head to look at me as I leaned in close. Ignoring my little scheme, she took a quick look at my wrist and smiled. Looks good. Only then did I nod in satisfaction. I sat down beside Lu Yuwei. While waiting for the food, I scrolled through moments on my phone. When I saw Xiao Zian's moments, I frowned slightly. I had forgotten to block Xiao Zian on WeChat. This Xiao Zian really had some skill. He had Su Yingxue wrapped around his finger. She did not even realize she was being used. Lu Yuwei, who was working, heard my inner thoughts and became a little curious about the relationship between Xiao Zian and Su Yingxue. The person Xiao Zian had always liked in his heart was Lu Yuwei. He had never liked Su Yingxue. Being with Su Yingxue was nothing more than a second choice after failing to get Lu Yuwei. In the original story, when Su Yingxue's career had reached its peak, Xiao Zian used Su Yingxue's influence to try to threaten Lu Yuwei, even trying to make Lu Yuwei his mistress. In the end, Lu Yuwei beat him so badly he was left half dead. If not for the Su family side, where a respected elder stepped in to plead on his behalf, Su Yingxue and Xiao Zian would have long since broken up. Lu Yuwei looked stunned listening to my inner thoughts, but she kept looking at the computer as if nothing had happened. That disgusting man actually wanted her to be his mistress. But a big shot is a big shot. Her ability to spot a schemer was flawless. I turned to look at Lu Yuwei, who was working seriously beside me. Then I suddenly put an arm around her shoulder and gave her cheek a heavy kiss. Lu Yuwei looked at me in confusion after the sudden kiss. What is it? I am rewarding my wife for being sharp enough to spot a scheming man. Lu Yuwei did not know whether to laugh or cry at my inner thoughts. I grinned. Then I kept looking through Xiao Zian's moments. Su Yingxue had gotten Xiao Zian a third female lead role. Xiao Zian actually was not angry. Lu Yuwei looked at the content on my phone with me. You do not like her. Should we replace this person? I shook my head decisively. No change. This show will never make it to air. After this drama was filmed and edited, while the director and the others kept promoting it nonstop, the heroine's scandal broke. She even got arrested. So the whole drama was shelved. Not only that, it also lost over 100 million in funding. And part of that money was Su Yingxue's 10 million. Just thinking about Su Yingxue losing that much money because of Xiao Zian made me happy. Soon Xiao Zian sent a message. Zhangyi, look. Yingxue introduced me to a director. You will not be jealous, will you? Seeing the message Xiao Zian sent me, I got goosebumps. You are not still planning to do it yourself, are you? Must be nice. Unlike me, who can only spend my wife's money. Using Su Yingxue to provoke me. He should at least see whether she is worthy. My wife is far better than Su Yingxue. She is rich, beautiful, and still treats me so well. Lu Yuwei leaned back on the sofa watching me. In this guy's heart, she was that good. Being watched like that by Lu Yuwei, I jumped in fright. Why are you staring at me like that? I looked at Lu Yuwei suspiciously. Seeing that she really seemed fine, I continued looking through Xiao Zian's messages. Over the next few days, Xiao Zian kept sending me posts about his interactions with Su Yingxue to make me angry. At first, I only treated Xiao Zian like a joke, and did not plan to bother with him much. But Xiao Zian got more and more outrageous, and he finally sent me off. So I sent him an intimate photo of Yuwei and me. Just before 2 minutes were up, I immediately took it back. When Xiao Zian saw the message I sent, his eyes were full of fury. He hurled the phone in his hand. His face darkened as he stared at the photo on the screen. I have to get Yuwei. Only a woman like Yuwei is his true love. He checked his scenes, and there were only 3 days left until filming wrapped. Once filming was over, he would definitely go find Yuwei. He would make Yuwei know that he was the one truly suited for her. Soon, 3 days had passed. Xiao Zian's scenes were finally wrapped. He even skipped the wrap party. He went straight back to the capital. Back in the capital, Xiao Zian started worrying. How was he supposed to get to see Yuwei? If only he could get into Yuwei's company. Just as Xiao Zian was anxious, Su Yingxue brought him good news. There would be a charity gala in 2 days. Su Yingxue planned to take Xiao Zian as her date and go together. When Xiao Zian was getting ready to attend the gala, Yuwei told me about it too. That is not very interesting either. I thought the charity gala and the auction were both kind of dull, so I did not really want to go. Su Yingxue had also received an invitation. She would very likely ask Xiao Zian to go with her. And Xiao Zian wanted to get into the entertainment industry. He definitely would not pass up an opportunity like that. Yuwei said with complete certainty. As soon as I heard Su Yingxue and Xiao Zian were going to, I immediately got interested. Wife, I am going to. I want to hear what those two are really plotting. The corners of Yuwei's lips lifted. Could this guy even hear Xiao Zian and Su Yingxue's inner thoughts? Then this would be interesting. The auction came quickly. With Su Yingxue's help, Xiao Zian showed up at the auction in a custom-tailored suit and an expensive watch. Together with Su Yingxue, those who knew about the grudge between the Jiang and Su families, seeing Xiao Zian openly arrive with Su Yingxue, pointed and whispered about the two of them. That adopted son has no manners at all. He really did steal the real young master's fiancée. You're behind the times. The Jiang family's real young master has already married the Lu family's head. That one is 100 times better than Su Yingxue. Once they heard that, everyone started buzzing about it. Xiao Zian naturally heard what they were saying too. His face turned ugly. How dare they say something like that right in front of him? Su Yingxue did not argue with them at this moment. Only when she walked over with Xiao Zian did she say to them coolly, "The one who is not liked is the homewrecker. Ozzy and I are true love." I had not expected that as soon as Yuwei and I arrived at the auction, we would hear Su Yingxue saying that in front of so many people. I did not expect that as soon as Yuwei and I got to the auction, we would hear Su Yingxue grandstanding in front of so many people. I could not help but applaud Su Yingxue. That was well said. So that is your excuse for hooking up during the engagement with Xiao Zian. My voice made everyone's attention turn to me. Their eyes flickered slightly, and they looked at me with curiosity as they said, "Mr. Jiang, what do you think about this?" I do not have much of an opinion. Of course, I wish the cheating scumbag and trash woman a lifetime together. May they stay stuck together forever. Do not come out and hurt anyone else. Hearing me say that about them in front of so many people, Xiao Zian immediately put on a pitiful act. "Little brother, I know you have issues with me, but you cannot." "Cannot what?" "You could hook up with her when I was engaged to Su Yingxue. Even send photos and videos to show off to me, just to flaunt it in my face. Now I am wishing you well, and you are still unhappy. That wronged, aggrieved look of yours is disgusting." Everyone exchanged glances. So he had done that much behind their backs. Xiao Zian saw that everyone's gaze toward him had changed. He immediately panicked and said, "That's not what happened. It was Zhang Yi who slandered me." I could not be bothered to say more to Xiao Zian. I dug out the photos and videos I had saved without deleting them, and played them in front of everyone. Seeing the photos and the video, with Xiao Zian and Su Yingxue looking so intimate, everyone was disgusted. No wonder the Jiang family wanted to cut ties with Xiao Zian. Looks like they had known all along what kind of trash he was. That is why they chose their real son, instead of the adopted son they had raised for over 10 years. "Xiao Zian, do you want me to keep going?" With the evidence right there, Xiao Zian was speechless. He could only look helplessly at Su Yingxue. "What a useless loser. Didn't you see Zhang Yi bullying me like this? And you still won't help me when it's already come to this." As Xiao Zian was thinking that, he turned a pitiful gaze on Yuwei and said miserably, My younger brother really misunderstood me. My husband only has one older sister, not some older brother. And aren't these things the ones you sent to my husband? Yuwei walked over to my side, reached out, and linked her arm through mine, speaking coldly with words that left Xiao completely shattered. I looked at Xiao with a half-smile. The woman you schemed and fought so hard to steal is standing right over there, and you are already trying to seduce my wife. Yingxue could not stand hearing that. She glared at me furiously. Jiang, you have gone too far. You have already kicked Ozzy out of the house. What more do you want? Why are you still so vile? I laughed in anger. I was about to say more when Yuwei pulled me over to the sign-in desk. What is there to say to someone like that? A useless fool with nothing but crap in his head. I covered my mouth and let out a quiet laugh. If you can talk, keep talking. I like hearing it. Hearing my inner thoughts. The corners of Yuwei's mouth lifted slightly. She glanced at Yingxue beside her. The Su family is finished too. To think they would let her act this recklessly at this auction. The onlookers nearby thought of something, and all laughed. This auction is pretty important. Yingxue bringing Xiao over was clearly just setting herself up for trouble. I asked Yuwei curiously. Yuwei, what kind of auction is this? It's for a corporate partnership. Highest bidder gets it. I looked at Yuwei with bright eyes. My gaze was sparkling, as if I had spotted some kind of treasure. So, it is a partnership. I remember in the original story, Yingxue also brought Xiao here to take part, because Xiao was too eager to show off and botched everything. In the end, the other side chose Yuwei. Not only that, after Yuwei won the partnership, Xiao even went to see Yuwei all full of himself, hoping Yuwei would hand the partnership over to Yingxue. Back then, Xiao relied on his protagonist Halo and ordered Yuwei around, but he did not know that Yuwei, as the ultimate villain boss, the so-called protagonist Halo, meant nothing to her. Yuwei not only ignored Xiao, she even had people throw him out. Thinking of how the story played out after that, I got even more excited. Could this storyline actually play out? I want to watch the drama. Hearing my inner thoughts, Yuwei's brow furrowed at once. What kind of brain-dead plot is this? Just because of some so-called Halo? He comes asking her for a partnership, and even tries to order her around. Does he really think she's some brainless idiot? Still, she wanted to see this plot too. She also wanted to see how this so-called male and female lead were going to put on a show in front of us. Xiao had wanted to play pitiful in front of Yuwei, but she ignored him completely. She even flirted with me in front of him. That was bad enough. Yuwei even mocked him right in front of him. His fist clenched instinctively. Xiao's eyes were full of determination to win the partnership. Yuwei, once I help Yingxue get this partnership, I will make Yuwei kneel and beg me. Hearing Xiao's inner thoughts, my expression turned a little strange. He actually thinks he can win this partnership and make a big shot beg him. Xiao's thinking was as arrogantly self-important as ever. A clueless loser still wants to compete at this unusual bidding event against seasoned business heavyweights. Where exactly does he get that confidence? Yuwei tightened her grip on my hand. She had not expected Xiao to dare think something like that. Then she asked casually, "Husband, do you think we should kick him while he's down this time?" I looked at Yuwei with shining eyes. My gaze was full of anticipation. It was as if I was asking, "Can we?" "If you want to, we can give it a try." Yuwei looked at me indulgently. "Of course we should. I will listen to you." The auction started soon after. I leaned over and whispered to Yuwei. From Xiao's angle, it looked exactly like I was kissing Yuwei in front of everyone. And Yuwei was not angry at all. She was looking at me with pure indulgence. She seemed very pleased with what I was doing. Xiao's expression twisted at the sight. "Shameless bitch. Shallow bastard. She likes men like that. I can do that too." Xiao felt bitter and resentful. Any woman around him would instinctively dote on him. So, why doesn't Yuwei care? Why can't Yuwei be like the other women? Why can't she be my backup option and fawn over me? Hearing Xiao's inner thoughts, I blinked. My expression went a little blank too. Well, damn. Holy crap. Xiao actually wants a big shot to be his backup option and simp. Yuwei instinctively turned to look at me. What is he even saying? Xiao wants her to be his backup option and his simp. At that moment, for the first time, Yuwei wanted to tear someone apart. I did not notice Yuwei's reaction and kept venting instead. Even the people from the Lu family would not dare say anything about making Yuwei return to the Lu family. They did not even dare show up in front of Lu Yuwei. And Xiao actually wanted Lu Yuwei to do something like that. Is he insane? Or am I? Lu Yuwei reached out and took my hand, turning it over in her palm. Her eyes, however, were full of fury. Bringing Jiang to this auction was the right call. At least now she knew exactly what Xiao was fantasizing about. First he wanted her begging him for mercy, and now he wanted her as his backup option and his simp. Good, very good. At this point, even if I were as slow as could be, I could tell Lu Yuwei was a little unhappy. I turned to look at Lu Yuwei. Wife, what's wrong? Lu Yuwei smiled and shook her head. It's nothing. I just saw something that doesn't know its place. I couldn't help grumbling to myself. She is not talking about Xiao, is she? There was amusement in Lu Yuwei's eyes. My husband really is smart. You even guessed that. Wife, who do you want me to deal with? I can help you. I looked at Lu Yuwei with eager anticipation. Lu Yuwei tapped my forehead with one finger. She said softly, do I need help with such a small thing? I smiled helplessly and rubbed my forehead. The people around them looked at how intimate the two were. They all showed friendly smiles. A woman who could not stand Yingxue said gleefully to the person beside her. Yingxue thought Jiang would be unwanted once he left her. In reality, he would only live better without her. Just look how well Lu Yuwei treats him. While speaking, she even deliberately glanced towards Yingxue's side. From the very beginning, Xiao had been watching the two of them being intimate. He was so angry he had scratched his palm with his nails. Hearing the people behind me talk, I curled my lips slightly and pretended to glance casually back at Xiao. Sure enough, Xiao's face was still terribly dark. He looked thoroughly rattled. I was speechless at the murderous look Xiao was sending me. I leaned closer to Lu Yuwei. That rotten flirt of yours is staring at me like that. If looks could kill, I'd already be full of holes. Lu Yuwei looked disgusted. If I gave you a peach blossom like that, would you want it? I shook my head without hesitation. I'm not worthy of a peach blossom like that. Lu Yuwei could not help laughing. Ignore people like that. Just watch them. Seeing Lu Yuwei say that, I immediately felt relieved and kept chatting quietly with her, waiting for Xiao to get too cautious to make a move once the auction started. The auction soon began. At first, there were only small lots. There were also some antiques, paintings, and the like. When a string of Buddhist prayer beads came up for auction, I whispered to Lu Yuwei, I like this one. Lu Yuwei said nothing and only watched the auctioneer. The starting bid for this string of prayer beads is 500,000. Each bid increase must be at least 100,000. Bidding starts now. Xiao had also set his sights on the string of prayer beads. He said to Yingxue beside him, Yingxue, these prayer beads are really beautiful. If you like them, buy them. Yingxue had a generous budget this time. Buying Xiao a string of prayer beads was nothing. The price quickly climbed to 2 million. When Yingxue heard that price, she frowned slightly. These prayer beads were decent, but they were not worth that price. Xiao knew the beads were overpriced too. Yingxue definitely would not pay even more for them. So he could only say dejectedly, Yingxue, forget it. These prayer beads are too expensive. Though Xiao said forget it, his pitiful expression made it obvious he did not want to give them up. Just as Yingxue was about to say something, she heard Lu Yuwei's voice from the front. 5 million. She couldn't be bothered to bid slowly against everyone else. So she waited until the price reached a certain point, and then bought it outright. I stared at Lu Yuwei in shock and grabbed her arm. What are you doing? 2 million is already too much. And she raised it by 3 million the moment she spoke. As the Lu family's son-in-law, you can buy whatever you want. No need to worry about the price. Lu Yuwei's determination to get those prayer beads left everyone else who wanted them silent. They did not dare compete with Lu Yuwei. It was not that they lacked the money, but they still had to give Lu Yuwei face. When Xiao heard the 5 million final price, his eyes turned red with jealousy. When the price reached 2 million, Yingxue was no longer willing to keep bidding for him. But now Lu Yuwei had raised the price by 3 million to buy it for Jiang. The difference was obvious at a glance. He glanced at Yingxue beside him. Sure enough, the knockoff could never compare to the real thing. That useless Yingxue couldn't even be bothered to bid. Hearing Xiao's inner thoughts, I curled my lips slightly. It looked like Xiao was starting to be dissatisfied with Yingxue too. Although Yingxue was the Su family's heir, because she was the female lead of this story, she also had some protagonist halo. But compared with Lu Yuwei, she was far too weak. She still wanted to work with the company, so naturally she couldn't spend too much money. This was not some prized collectible. In Su Yingxue's eyes, it simply was not worth it. And it was against a top-tier big shot like Lu Yuwei. Anyone with a brain would know what choice to make. Su Yingxue looked at Xiao Ze'an helplessly. She reached out and rubbed her brow. She wanted to comfort him, but in the end said nothing. She planned to buy him a piece of jewelry later if she saw something pretty and reasonably priced. Then she would buy one for Xiao Ze'an. Soon, a diamond-studded watch set was brought out. When she saw that watch, Lu Yuwei's gaze was already fixed on it. When bidding started, Lu Yuwei took it for 10,000. That watch was then swept into Lu Yuwei's hands. Only then did I react. I boldly reached out and pinched Lu Yuwei's face. Spendthrift. Husband, you have to trust your wife's money-making ability. If you don't spend money, how are you supposed to be a spendthrift freeloader? If you spend money, your wife will have the motivation to earn money. After Lu Yuwei said that, I actually thought it made some sense. So I nodded seriously. Then I won't be polite with you. Lu Yuwei nodded in satisfaction and kept watching the auction items with me. What we said happened to be heard by Xiao Ze'an behind us. He thought that getting to pieces of jewelry had already gone to our heads. Once we secure the company's cooperation, let's see how you embarrass yourselves. Hearing Xiao Ze'an's smug thoughts, I shook my head helplessly. Xiao Ze'an is pretty confident. Ozzy is sensible. He won't make things hard for me at a time like this. This was the first time since I entered the auction that I heard Su Yingxue's inner thoughts. If Xiao Ze'an heard it, who knows what he would think. As for the next auction items, Lu Yuwei bought me to more things I liked. As for Xiao Ze'an's side, he also seemed to have gotten a pretty necklace as expected. It was priced under $1 million. Soon the auction reached the most critical point. The company cooperation bidding began. This time the person who came was the company's top executive. When I saw him, Lu Yuwei's expression looked a little strange. Noticing her gaze, I asked curiously, "Wife, do you know this person? We've met a few times and worked with him before." I nodded in understanding. So that's how it is. Looks like this cooperation, Lu Yuwei has a very good chance of getting it. The only question is what Xiao Ze'an will do when Lu Yuwei secures the deal. Since he is dead set on winning, soon the bidding started. At the beginning, Lu Yuwei didn't take part in the bidding. She just kept waiting for others to call out prices. And Su Yingxue also joined in later. By the time she joined, the price had already reached more than 8 billion. When she called out a bid of 10 billion, Xiao Ze'an frowned slightly. He said quietly to Su Yingxue beside him, "Yingxue, isn't this too expensive? What kind of cooperation needs 10 billion? Are they trying to use this chance to fleece people again?" The people beside them turned their attention to Xiao Ze'an. Those mocking looks made Xiao Ze'an feel embarrassed. Even Su Yingxue could not help frowning. "Ozzy, don't talk nonsense. As for what this cooperation is about, they all know a little about it. The specifics will only be explained after the bidding ends, and the other side's representative will personally tell the winning bidder." What Xiao Ze'an said like that was just making himself a laughingstock. I wasn't talking nonsense either. It's just an ordinary cooperation. Why would it need 10 billion? And this still wasn't the final price. If they have so much money, would it really be so bad to give him a little? The people beside them looked at Xiao Ze'an with colder and colder eyes. Those who were not on good terms with Su Yingxue cast Xiao Ze'an a disgusted look and said, "If you bring someone to an event like this next time, bring someone who knows how to keep his mouth shut." After saying that, he deliberately raised his voice and said, "Some people just pretend to know what they're talking about. They do not realize that everything they say is a joke." The company representative on stage smiled faintly. Without offering any explanation, he only said, "If you think we were ripping people off from the start, you can let Miss Su choose to withdraw from the bidding." Being stared at like that by a representative of one of the country's top powers, even Su Yingxue got a little angry. She shot Xiao Ze'an an angry look. "Ozzy, if you do not understand, then stop talking nonsense. This cooperation is very important to our Su family." Xiao Ze'an was about to say something else, but Su Yingxue had already lost patience. "Ozzy, don't say another word. Otherwise, my bidding here will get very troublesome." Xiao Ze'an's eyes turned red, and he said sadly, "Yingxue, you hate me now, don't you?" Su Yingxue rubbed her brow, feeling increasingly irritated. "Ozzy, this is not the time to talk about this. You do hate me. Are you regretting it now?" Xiao Ze'an did not care about the occasion at all. He stood up and pointed at Su Yingxue, demanding, "With so many people there, they just watched Xiao Ze'an lose his mind." I watched Xiao Ze'an with even greater interest. Wasn't Xiao Ze'an usually supposed to be pretty smart? How had he ended up like this? Picking a fight with Su Yingxue in front of so many people. Wasn't that trampling all over Su Yingxue's dignity? Looking at Su Yingxue's darkened face, I couldn't help laughing. I wanted to see how far Xiao Zian could keep making a fool of himself. Su Yingxue was also getting angry. She said sharply, Xiao Zian, can you be a little more sensible? Look at where you are before you talk, all right? After Su Yingxue said that, Xiao Zian finally noticed that everyone in the venue was looking at them. Their eyes were full of mockery and disgust. It was as if they were looking at trash, while Xiao Zian was thinking about how to handle this and trying to downplay the damage. I propped my chin on my hand and said with a half-smile, Xiao Zian, we know you and Su Yingxue are close, but you cannot flirt in front of so many people and delay everyone else's bidding. The people beside them, who were already unhappy with them, nodded in agreement. That's right. What is wrong with the Su family? At such an important event, they brought someone so inconsiderate here. Are they doing this on purpose to embarrass us? With everyone pointing and whispering at Xiao Zian, he did not dare say anything else. He could only cower behind Su Yingxue. Su Yingxue felt a little helpless about it, but she had brought him herself. So at this point she could only accept her bad luck. She stood up and apologized to everyone. Everyone, I am sorry. This was our mistake. I apologize to everyone here. After that light, perfunctory apology, everyone's attention returned to the bidding. While Xiao Zian was thinking about how he would coax Su Yingxue when they got back, he heard a familiar voice call out a price. 500 million. Xiao Zian jerked his head up and stared at me. He actually jumped straight to 500 billion. Zhang Yi, if you do not understand, then stop bidding blindly. You do not even worry that Lu Yuwei will be angry. Xiao Zian's voice was rather loud. His eyes fixed on me, full of smug suspicion. It's only pocket money my wife gave me. Do you have to stick your nose in even when I am bidding with pocket money? If I remember right, the price in the original story was 180 billion. And this time, they are developing a semiconductor chip. Once development succeeds, we will get the right to cooperate again. Then the better chip companies can use it directly. If the plot I know is right, half a year after this cooperation is secured, our country's chip industry saw a huge breakthrough. Lu Yuwei spent 180 billion, but earned back more than 10 times that. Lu Yuwei only vaguely knew some things about this cooperation, and she only knew a little about it in passing. She did not know it was related to chips, and her most profitable business just happened to need chips. In that case, it really matched the plot I knew. After reaching a chip cooperation agreement with the company, and with the other side succeeding as well, then besides the country, she would be the biggest beneficiary. Husband, for this bid. Lu Yuwei shot the meddlesome Xiao Zian a glance, then said softly to me, bid boldly. I'll back you up from the sidelines. As for those nosy busybodies, just ignore them. Suddenly, someone laughed gleefully. Since when do people get angry because someone else spends money? Exactly. His wife has not even said a word. What is he panicking about? Xiao Zian's face flushed red, and he was about to say something else, but Su Yingxue stopped him. Do not say another word. Seeing Su Yingxue angry, Xiao Zian could only fall silent. This little interruption from Xiao Zian did not affect the bidding. The bidding quickly reached 100 billion. Su Yingxue also gave up bidding because of funding problems. Now only 3 companies were left in the race. By the time it reached 130 billion, only Lu Yuwei and one other bidder were still competing. I thought about it. Their floor price was 150 billion. I might as well call out the final price directly. Thinking that, I smiled and said, 180 billion. That was the price Lu Yuwei gave in the original novel. Once that price came out, the rival bidder had no choice but to back out. Xiao Zian screamed, Zhang Yi, are you insane? Lu Yuwei, aren't you going to control him? Lu Yuwei frowned, clearly annoyed. Control your own man. My business is none of someone's savory character's concern. Any higher bid? Everyone fell silent. Who could still compete with Lu Yuwei at that price? Sold for 180 billion. At that moment, the company representative came down with a contract in hand, ready to sign it with Lu Yuwei and the others. Xiao Zian suddenly stood up from his chair and walked up to Lu Yuwei. Lu Yuwei, can you let Yingxue have this cooperation? You do not lack this deal, right? Xiao Zian put on what he thought was a charming expression and said gently to Lu Yuwei. Lu Yuwei looked at Xiao Zian like he was a joke. I spent 180 billion to win this deal. And with one sentence, you want me to hand it over? Who do you think you are to ask that? As expected, Zhang Yi's inner thoughts were spot on. Xiao Zian really said something like this at a time like this. Something this embarrassing. Even Su Yingxue had not expected Xiao Zian to go straight to Lu Yuwei, asking her to hand the deal over. She hurried over to Xiao Zian and pulled him aside. Su Yingxue said in a low, angry voice, "What are you doing? I'm doing this for your own good. You are making me look like a fool. Do you think people are idiots? This cooperation is worth 180 billion. Why would they give it to me just because of one sentence from you?" Su Yingxue felt Xiao Zian was acting like a madman. He could actually say something this ridiculous. Xiao Zian said nothing in silence. He knew plenty of women could not refuse him. As long as he opened his mouth, they would hand over whatever he wanted. He thought that in front of Lu Yuwei, she would treat him the same way. He never expected Lu Yuwei to shame him in front of everyone. Let's continue. Lu Yuwei looked at the representative in front of her and said with a smile, and the two quickly signed the contract. I folded my arms and looked at Xiao Zian with a faint, mocking smile. Xiao Zian, I am curious about one thing. Just how thick is your skin? That you could say, have my wife hand a 180 billion deal to Su Yingxue. I sized up Xiao Zian. There was nothing special about him. How could he be so ordinary and still so confident? Maybe he thought Lu Yuwei was as stupid as Su Yingxue. That is probably why he could say something like that as if it were a joke. Su Yingxue was the reason you brought him here, so that when you could not get what you wanted, get someone to hand you a cooperation deal that somebody else spent a fortune to win. Even as I finished speaking, I could not help laughing. This joke, I could laugh at Su Yingxue about it for the rest of my life. Xiao Zian's face turned red, facing so many mocking looks. Xiao Zian looked at Su Yingxue pitifully. Yingxue, I only wanted to help you. I did not mean it. Su Yingxue now wished she had never brought Xiao Zian here. How could he say something so humiliating? How could Xiao Zian even say something like that out loud? Let's go first. After saying that, she turned and left. She had absolutely no intention of waiting for Xiao Zian. Xiao Zian, however, chased after her in anger. Damn Zhang Yi, if it were not for him, I would not have lost my reason like this. Listening to Xiao Zian's inner thoughts, I pointed at myself on instinct, my expression a little confused. He made a fool of himself, and he wants to blame me? Am I some poor sap? Xiao Zian was the one who said it wrong. Is that not because he has no brain? How did it become my fault? Listening to me roast Xiao Zian in my head, Lu Yuwei sympathetically reached out and ruffled my hair. Husband, tell me, how did Xiao Zian come up with something like that? I thought about it seriously. Then I answered Lu Yuwei's question. Xiao Zian has always been very popular with women. As long as he wants something, the women around him will hand it over willingly. He probably thought you would be the same, so he dared to say it in front of so many people. And Xiao Zian has one more thing to rely on. Whenever he makes a mistake, the women around him are reluctant to blame him. So in other people's eyes, Xiao Zian is just a pretty boy idiot. He deliberately does not handle things properly, but keeps saying he is just too stupid, and even takes the initiative to apologize. Every time that happens, even if the people nearby have objections, they would feel awkward saying anything else. They can only hold their noses and accept the loss. It's a pity, because this time Xiao Zian was not facing those fools, but Lu Yuwei, this top-tier villain boss. Xiao Zian probably still thought that with so many people watching, even if she was unwilling, she would be too embarrassed to refuse. Lu Yuwei rubbed her temple with a headache and asked helplessly, do I really look that much like a poor sap? In other people's eyes, we both look like poor saps. As I spoke, I reached out and held Lu Yuwei's little hand, telling her not to dwell on it. The two of us went to collect the jewelry we had won at auction, then left the auction venue. When we went out, we saw Su Yingxue and Xiao Zian arguing not far from the entrance. But not long after, their argument, because Xiao Zian suddenly backed down, just ended without anything coming of it. The two of them left again, hand in hand, looking very close. See, that is Xiao Zian's skill, I said sarcastically. After all, he really is a pretty boy idiot. No matter what he does wrong, the women around him cannot bear to blame him. Pretty boy idiot. Lu Yuwei looked a little disgusted by that nickname. A fool is a fool. What pretty boy idiot? Anyone who backs Xiao Zian is a fool too, right? Having someone like that around would embarrass me. Lu Yuwei said with obvious disgust. How does Su Yingxue manage to be so magnanimous? What happened at today's auction? Wouldn't even need until tomorrow. It would spread through their entire circle. By then, the Su family would become the laughingstock of high society. And yet Su Yingxue just forgave Xiao Zian like that. I have no idea, what was going through her head. She is so lovesick. Does the Su family know? I leaned over to Lu Yuwei and asked curiously, "What are you thinking?" "I'm just thinking. Now that this has blown up so much, the Su family should have heard about it too. They're at least a respectable, well-known family, becoming the laughingstock of high society over one man. Do you think Su Yingxue? What will happen to her when she goes back?" Lu Yuwei said with interest. Thinking of that, I carefully recalled the plot from the original novel and stroked my chin as I said, "A beating when she got home was definitely unavoidable." In the original story, once the Su family found out, they ordered her to cut ties with Ze'an. Because she refused, she was punished to kneel in the ancestral hall. If she had not still had some value, even her position as heir would have been stripped, and they would have chosen her younger brother instead. Lu Yuwei nodded in understanding. So that's how it is. When Su Yingxue got home, she saw old Master Su sitting there with a cane whip in his hand. Everyone in the family was there. Seeing this lineup, Su Yingxue knew this would not end well. Old Master Su gave Su Yingxue a severe dressing down. When he heard that Su Yingxue was still defending Ze'an, he got even angrier. She wanted to say more, but then Su Yingxue's phone kept ringing non-stop. Su Yingxue frowned. Does Ze'an have any sense at all? It's already this late, and he's still hounding her. She turned on speakerphone and answered. I wanted to see what else Ze'an could possibly say. Su Yingxue had no choice. With no choice, she took out her phone. As soon as she answered and switched on speaker, Ze'an's aggrieved voice came through from the other end. "Yingxue, are you angry with me? Or are Grandpa and the others upset with me? Let me explain it to them, okay?" Ze'an thought Su Yingxue was the one answering, so his tone turned casual and pitiful. "I have something to handle here. I'll call you again once I'm done." The moment Su Yingxue heard Ze'an's words, she immediately felt a headache coming on. She only wanted to hang up as fast as possible. "No, I have to explain it clearly to old Master Su and the others. What if Grandpa Su and the others misunderstand me? Besides, this was clearly because they did not prepare enough money. How could that have anything to do with you? Yingxue, old Master Su is obviously making things difficult for you on purpose," Ze'an said unhappily. Hearing Ze'an say all this, the Jiang family couldn't help but laugh in anger. Su Yingxue's face darkened even more. "Ze'an, stop talking nonsense. I didn't say anything wrong. It's such a small matter. Do they really need to be this angry? Yingxue, I know I was wrong. Please don't stay mad at me. Come out now. Let's go out and take a walk, okay?" Ze'an said shrewdly. He figured that once Su Yingxue came out, then he just coaxed her casually and let the matter slide. Old Master Su said with a cold laugh. "Ze'an, my Su family's affairs do not need an outsider like you butting in." Ze'an, still pretending to be pitiful, suddenly heard old Master Su's voice. His face changed at once. "Ze'an, you really are good at putting on an act. You deliberately pulled something like this, and now you want to explain and apologize. Our family has been made a joke by so many people. You think one apology can fix that?" Ze'an's face turned deathly pale. His voice trembled a little. "Yingxue, did you really let old Master Su and the others hear our call?" When Ze'an said that, his voice turned sharp. He even sounded disbelieving, just thinking about the things he had said, and that Grandpa Su and the others had heard every word. Ze'an wished he could just faint on the spot. "Mr. Xiao, this old man is not worthy of being called your grandpa. I heard that at the auction, Yingxue bought you an expensive piece of jewelry. I hope Mr. Xiao will return what our family bought with our own money. Also, Mr. Xiao, do not come looking for Yingxue again in the future. The Su family is not worthy of a man like Mr. Xiao." Old Master Su said expressionlessly. Su Yingxue wanted to say something, but a casual glance from old Master Su pinned her in place. She did not dare say another word. The moment Ze'an heard that old Master Su wanted him to return the items, he said anxiously, "Yingxue, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Please forgive me, okay? Not on purpose? Which thing today was not something you did on purpose?" Su Yingxue was getting annoyed too. Ze'an's actions made her feel as if someone had slapped her hard across the face. In fact, Ze'an really had done it on purpose. What he had just said was also meant to sow discord between Su Yingxue and her family. He wanted Su Yingxue to feel even more sorry for him, so she would not keep being upset with him over this. Now, with one sentence from Su Yingxue, his little scheme was exposed. Ze'an quickly calmed down and said pitifully, "Yingxue, and even now you're still misunderstanding me. You know better than anyone that I'm not that kind of person. You know the answer in your heart. Yingxue did not want to say another word to Ze'an. She hung up right away. When she called again, Yingxue no longer answered. Old Master Su looked at Yingxue and said coldly, Yingxue, is this the man you were willing to gamble your future on to protect? Zhang Yi was such a good young man, compared with someone like Ze'an, who only sees money. What was wrong with him? Yingxue said nothing, thinking of how I had been to her back then. Her feelings were complicated, even tinged with a faint regret. I will give you two choices now. First, give up your status as the family's heir. After all, our family does not need an heir who cannot tell right from wrong. Second, listen to us and get engaged to the person we choose. Yingxue naturally would not, at this moment, give up her position as the Su family's heir. She could only choose to get engaged to the person the Su family had chosen. I choose the engagement. Yingxue thought very simply. As long as she held the Su family in her hands, she could do whatever she wanted in the future. Even if she broke off the engagement later, it would only take one word from her. That night, when Yuwei came out after showering, she saw me lying on the bed, laughing nonstop. Looking confused, she came over and asked, "What are you laughing at?" I said gleefully, "Just now, Yingxue's younger brother called me. He said Yingxue's authority had been stripped away and redistributed by old Master Su. Now, among the Su family's children with real ability, whoever gets more power will have more influence. And all of this was because Ze'an called Yingxue, stirred up trouble between them in front of old Master Su and the others. He even blamed old Master Su and the others for not preparing enough money. The more I heard, the more ridiculous it sounded. What kind of brain does Ze'an even have? 100 billion. That was already all the liquid cash the Su family could scrape together. If that is still not enough, then what would count as a lot? Yuwei started doubting it again. This so-called male lead, how exactly is his brain wired? Yingxue deserves what she got today. I nodded in agreement. If Yingxue had agreed to old Master Su and the others' demands, and cut ties with Ze'an, this would have been over. But Yingxue refused. The Su family had just been humiliated because of Ze'an, so they would definitely not agree. And that's not all. Let me tell you something else interesting. Yuwei looked at me with interest, wanting to know what else I had to say. Something that got me this excited to talk about it. The expensive jewelry Yingxue bought for Ze'an at the auction. The Su family planned to take back. Knowing Ze'an's personality, if they really took it back, Ze'an would be humiliated. By then, he should be looking for someone else. Yuwei said with narrowed eyes. With someone like Ze'an, there would definitely be more than one woman around him. Now that Yingxue's status as heir had been stripped away, the benefits she could bring him were even smaller. Ze'an's ambitions were huge. He would never be satisfied with the status quo. Listening to Yuwei's analysis, I kept nodding as I listened. She was right. What should appear next? Should be that famous director who had just returned from overseas. That person was someone Ze'an ran into when there was a problem with the screenplay this time. Because Ze'an got Yingxue to invest in her screenplay, he became her benefactor, which led to her later pouring resources into backing Ze'an. How should I bring it up so my wife signs her to our company and invest in the big budget production she had in hand? In the original story, this project made Yingxue a fortune, with 200 million in funding. The final box office reached 3 billion, a guaranteed profit. Yuwei immediately became interested. Husband, do you know what other connections Ze'an has that we can use? The moment Yuwei asked that herself, I, still thinking it over, immediately perked up. I blurted out a name, my eyes shining. Huaiyi. She's a young director who came back after studying abroad. She has a film in her hands that is absolutely going to be a hit. She'll be back the day after tomorrow. Let's sign her. Invest in the project she has. I looked at Yuwei expectantly. I was practically begging her to sign her right then and there. Yuwei leaned lightly into my arms. All right, I'll listen to you. I'll have someone reach out to her. Hearing that, I hugged Yuwei excitedly and kissed her hair hard. My dear wife, you're the best. 2 days later, Huaiyi returned to the country. But Yuwei's people did not go to her right away. They waited until her fundraising efforts failed, and only stepped in after she had run into dead ends everywhere. Then they asked to see her screenplay, with Yuwei's name behind them. Huaiyi did not doubt them. Instead, she followed them to Yuwei's company. After reading Huaiyi's screenplay, Yuwei finally understood why this film could earn such a high box office. I can invest 500 million in you. Wang Huaiyi shot up from her chair, looking at Lu Yuwei with some excitement. President Lu, are you really willing to invest in me? Of course, but I have a condition too. I hope you will join my company. Any screenplays you write after that can be paid to you according to profit sharing. The conditions Lu Yuwei offered were excellent too. Faced with those terms, Wang Huaiyi could not refuse at all.